can only prune a tree so much before it dies. Taxing the hell out of us will kill America. It is time we re-examine how and who we vote for president. Because your life and livelihood now depends upon it. Thank you for dropping by.
The love of money being the root of all evil is pretty deep. All evil? I mean, money didn't exist when mankind started talking to each other. I mean, whether we were apes and turned into humans, or whether we were always humans and just created, boom, as an adult human without sin and then sinned. Either way you look at it, money wasn't an issue. Money didn't come into play until later on in society. The culture didn't just pop into existence with 1 million people, or however it came into being. Maybe it did, but money being the root of all evil is so deep. But today it's pretty appropriate, it seems to me, the love of it, because it promotes power. And so, anyways, one of the things that's going on is these transitional cities. These cities that get built, like you take an area where people live in a floodplain, and coincidentally there's a flood. Who's going to suspect anything? Maybe it was a natural disaster. Maybe these people are just opportunists, and they're taking advantage of the opportunity to purchase all that land, meaning government.
It strikes me that there's a kind of a tension here between capital that can go anywhere and needs to have the right risk-adjusted return to come here, with some view that that's going to last for more than 18 months, and the perception that can be created that this is about rich people getting richer and rich companies getting richer and wealth being exported to other places. And so for all of us that do work in developing countries, we got to deal with that perception. So for us, we have to think about bringing in local capabilities and creating, whether it's training or service or manufacturing, because that's our way to avoid the perception that, this is about us selling expensive power equipment or locomotives and making shareholders wealthier in other countries. And so we've got to, all the investors, I think, that work in a country like Indonesia have to deal with that perception. And we all want to make a good return on our investment and satisfy our shareholders. So it's a legitimate tension that we see in lots of countries.
But what are you actually doing in order to perhaps change that perception?
We have to be local. We can't. 20 years ago, you could fly in and sell a jet engine and leave and ship your engine in and get paid and live happily ever after. And that day doesn't exist anymore. We have to be working with Garuda on service. We have to have capabilities to assemble and service locomotives. That has to be done. Increasingly, that has to be done here, not someplace else.
So this is the future.
Yes, this is the future.
On this land, no coal, no nuclear energy.
No nuclear energy. No coal.
An environmentally smart town, self-sustainable, producing zero emissions. This is Fujisawa, just outside of Tokyo. Panasonic Corporation owns the land and, with 8 other Japanese companies, sees this private venture as the environmentally friendly subdivision of the future. 1,000 households connected on a smart grid, designed to be green from the ground up. Houses built to reduce carbon footprints, like Panasonic's Eco House, which serves as a model for the Smart Towns homes.
Is this the primary change in the Eco House?
そうですね。
Yes, it's here, says Hiroyuki Morita, in the rooftop solar power panels, lithium battery power storage, and energy-saving designs in every appliance and corner of this house. Marita calls it the beginning of an energy revolution.
How much changed after the nuclear crisis began?
We used to think of getting energy from one single big infrastructure, he explains, like the Tokyo Electric Company's nuclear plants. He adds Japan's earthquake and nuclear crisis changed everything. People want to get energy on a smaller individual scale. But that's easier said than done.
Japan gets an estimated 30% of its energy from nuclear power. Even anti-nuclear activists admit that shifting to renewables means less consistent, reliable energy sources, and that's a tough sell in an energy-hungry metropolis like Tokyo.
But in the ongoing nuclear crisis, consumers now want to buy into an eco-town like Fujisawa, say the corporations behind the project. Government can't answer that desire immediately, but private groups can. It's not only in Japan, but the world. We expect this sort of development will spread. A small idea with a big promise and challenge, and hopes to solve an even larger worldwide energy crisis. Kyung Law, CNN, Fujisawa, Japan.
Who's going to suspect anything? Maybe it was a natural disaster. Maybe that these people are just opportunists, and they're taking advantage of the opportunity to purchase all that land, meaning government, big buyout, and relocating all of those people somewhere else. Or maybe they're creating that crisis and then taking advantage of the opportunity they just created. Or maybe some of both are happening. But the fact is, those transitional cities, it's really not a bad idea in the front end. Just imagine if we had somebody running for president in America who came up with an idea like they did in Japan, but exclusive of the UN, exclusive of Agenda 21, exclusive of all the other governments. Not that we're being protectionist, but just as an opportunity. Instead of dumping $1 trillion into a shovel-ready project, how about presenting an idea to America and saying, let's take this place in the middle of in the center section of America that's undeveloped. I don't know if it's Nebraska or Kansas or some place with this big plains area, and say, let's put in a railway that goes west towards a big city, and east towards a big city, and north and south towards a big city. So we're going to connect this city to 4 main places. And then we're going to build this area that's all green, environmentally safe, and everything else, solar, wind turbines, no oil, no whatever is not. Okay? And as the government, we're going to approve any big corporation or any small business or any individual who wants to contribute. And these bonds are going to be owned by the city, which doesn't currently exist, but we're going to build it, and America's going to build it. And so we're going to establish a task force of these 5 college kids and these 5 scholars, 2 of them liberal, 2 of them conservative, 2 of them independent, and the rest of them will be college kids or whatever. And this task force is going to make sure to make it easy for you to get involved. So me as an individual, I might want to invest $100. So I might want to invest $1,000. It depends on how much money I got. But I know and I trust that money is going to that specific city, man. It's just an American project. And we all get involved and we all put it together and we all have input. But it's done with honesty. It's done without corruption. And it's done without any other country being involved with it. It's just our project. And if it works, fine. We can use it as a template in other places. But to me, it's like, I think that's a way better idea than trying to just spread the wealth across the whole entire nation and just force everybody to change. And we're not going to have oil. We're not going to have anything but solar, wind power and solar. It's like, and we'll just adjust our taxes to manipulate social behavior.
Hi, I'm Bill Hurst at Highland Hill Farm, and I want to talk to you today about a tax that the Obama administration is planning on cigarettes. Now, I'm not a smoker of cigarettes, so a cigarette tax really won't affect me. But what they're going to do is they're proposing a 10-cent a butt tax on cigarette butts. And what will happen is this. you'll be able to get a rebate for every cigarette butt that you recycle. The recycling entities will be established at U.S. post offices for recycling of cigarette butts.
I'm trying to say.
Recycling entities will be established at U.S. post offices for recycling of cigarette butts. You'll be bringing cigarette butts back to the post office, and for each butt that you bring, you'll get a 10-cent refund on your income tax. It'll be administered by the IRS. The funds will go to both health care and
Force everybody to change, and we're not going to have oil, we're not going to have anything but solar, wind power and solar, it's like, and we'll just adjust our taxes to manipulate social behavior, we don't want you to buy bullets, so we're going to put a $10 tax on a single bullet. I heard a guy say that the other day on television and news. It's disgusting, Or we don't want you to buy cigarettes anymore, so we're going to put a $5 tax on it. It costs like almost $100 for me to buy 2 cartons of cigarettes. $100, man, and half of that or more is just taxes. So I shouldn't smoke. Fine. Well, we shouldn't shoot bullets either, but you know what? The method sucks to just take and tax something for the purpose of taxing it. So anyways, to get off that rant and rave, what do you think about that idea of just putting the city together, man, as a group of people in America? Think about that idea of just putting the city together, man, as a group of people in America. That's my thoughts on it. And if you've got comments or if you've got videos to share or ideas, this video I'm making, when it's out there, comments are open, and plugging videos into it is open and so forth, because I really think we could move on this in such a way that it brings happiness to America and peace. And we really need to set an example for all the other countries in the world. All the way up to Switzerland, Geneva. They say they're doing whatever it is that they're doing. But what have they done for me lately? We've done a lot of stuff for other countries. And I'm proud of America. I know you are too. So I'm interested in your comments. I'm just sitting here staring at a keyboard. Staring. That's all I'm really doing. See you later. There's that video. I can't find it. It was on here before. Let me just touch it up. Oh. There, that should do it.
Since 1980, the trend for unemployment was downward. The lowest point was in 2000 at roughly 4 million unemployed. Joblessness reached its highest peak during the 80s at 10+ million unemployed. It was President Jimmy Carter, two terms that caused that mess during the 80s. It was Jimmy Carter who gave Islamic imperialism and expansionism its push start, with the return of the Ayatollah Khamenei to power. History repeats itself. President Obama has elevated the Muslim Brotherhood throughout the Middle East while hacking away at Israel's foundations and systematically crippling our financial engines. Obama's stimulus plan results 9.2% unemployment rate. 14+ million now out of work on July 2011. Obama finished killing off NASA. Tens of thousands across the nation will now be out of work. NASA funds given to Obama's contributing friends that somehow they will get us back into space. Can you say overseas bankers getting TARP money and giving themselves $1 million bonuses? Remember, this is the same president who orders his police czar to do the following: if a crime takes place and no one is arrested, then it will not count as a crime. This is how crime dropped during Obama's presidency. But what would all those murdered, raped, assaulted, robbed victims say to this piece of scholarly logic? Can you say it sucks? Any solution? Well, one potential solution we should investigate is Jesus' suggestion. He said to become like salt for the world. But I would go further than that. We must become like diatomaceous earth, a safe, harmless mineral that mummifies fleas, ticks, and bugs. Another potential solution, also from the Bible, is the King David self-development. The Bible recounts how that King David was a self-taught musician and military fighter, as well as a shepherd. It is time we get off our asphalt bottoms and cultivate ourselves to reach our highest potential. Then leave it up to God to find the best place for you to shine in. Lastly, our fine scholarly law professor president seems to miss out on one simple and obviously very major point. All of nature is based on growth. Where growth is stunted, things die off. You can only prune a tree so much before it dies. Taxing the hell out of us will kill America. It is time we re-examine how and who we vote for president, because your life and livelihood now depends upon it. Thank you for dropping by.
I'm trying to